more times than not. Obviously, when you go through a hiring process and you get to select your coaches, you're going to try and find some cohesion in how you guys view the game. But if you have coaches who disagree with you, I think it's important to hear them out. Find ways to implement things that they believe in. And at the end of the day, the head coach has the final say. And I think in a professional world, you got to allow your head coach to move forward with what they believe to be important and necessary, and the assistant coach has to be okay with that. And when they walk out of the room after an argument or a disagreement, you've got to be on the same page. Players are very quickly and very easily going to see or feel if a coaching staff is not in a line or not on the same page, and it's really important that they don't feel that. All right. All right, so puck is gained. Again, puck protection, pressure's coming on quick. I think you guys get the idea or premise of just shrinking the environment. We try and create different spaces all the time for these guys to apply the same skill sets or concepts that we're giving them. And again, every one of these drills could be a completely different focus of the day. For this, we're just talking about the puck protection and going through your defenders and attacking inside quick to be hard to play against. 2-on-2, get off the wall. This is the starting point. Two players will start on the face-off dots. They'll tag the top of the circles. One player will ring a puck around to their teammate, and now that teammate will be under pressure by one. You'll have to try and get off the wall and attack inside as quickly as you can, and it plays out 2-on-2 below the tops of the circles. Here it is. Two white players tag up top of the circles. This player here just rimmed it around to his partner. Now he's going to collect the puck while pressure's coming at him. I chose this because it pairs with the Austin Matthews clip. He uses a spin off and attacks inside right away. Again, when we drop the drill for that day, we try and coerce them towards the mentality of attacking inside. We're not running from pressure, and we want to use our physicality, our body to do that. It'd be hard to play against offensively. Whistle's blown, two players that were on defense, they got to tag up again. Wall collection, uses a cutback to extend the possession. There's your puck protection. Almost a little bit of a subtle pick by the other player, used the cutback to get a shot off. And again here, puck protection, cutback. Teammates coming over to create a subtle pick. Now you're helping build time and space for your teammate to build that offensive gap. Now what was heavy pressure with the subtle pick and interference is building space for your puck carrier to create offense, and allows him time and space to get a shot with a good little flash screen getting underneath. And again here, if both players on the offensive side of the puck are not in a good position, defenders have got between them and the net, just like the McDavid click, the spin-off, getting comfortable inside of contact, using his body as leverage to shut them in the back door and get inside to the net. Here's another drill. Now, we just talked about the different constraints and size of space that we give the players and start shrinking it as the drill or as the practice goes on. Then we just talked about wall collections and getting pucks off the wall and attacking to the middle. Now you're easily going to get that puck, but now it's when you attack inside, that second layer that you've seen earlier in the skill progression. That was a little bit more token. Here, the player who was on offense becomes defense. He's now getting up and trying to play an angle on a new player who's coming out of the corner, getting around the pad. So they're easily going to get the middle of the rink. And now the defending players stick on puck, trying to play in a good angle, but it puts the offensive player in an environment where he's trying to get to the net one-on-one. He's got to use his body to leverage through the hands, through the stick, protect the puck, and get to the net right away. Here's another one, whistle blows. The player who was on offense now transitions and comes up on defense. This player didn't do a good job defensively getting up and getting a gap, but you can see here the offensive player is getting through the hands, protecting it, and getting to the net to the far side for a goal. Again, one-on-one, it's going nose to nose, doesn't expose the puck to the stick of the defender, putting himself in a position where I'm getting to the net now. Coach told me that we're not staying on the outside, we're being hard to play against, we're creating as many scoring chances as we can in the short amount of time within our shift, and we've got to build these skills and being comfortable of taking the physicality offensively to our opponent. Now we're just simply adding a second player, 2-on-2. Now the second player has the option to go through the first seam of the pads or above both pads with the first player. You'll see here, now you still get that same one-on-one physicality with the puck on the puck, but now the player off the puck can start to look for picks and rolls. He comes back, there's your subtle pick. And now you're getting into real life application and game of players trying to create time and space for their teammate and start to stack all the concepts that we've talked about within these sequences. This player goes for the underseam, he goes right to the first defender to create time and space. For the puck carrier, they get a little lucky with a bobble. But again, he works off the puck. Whistle blows in transition, the offensive players are now deep defensive. Again, initiates the pick, buys time and space to get on the inside, he rolls off and he goes to the back door. All concepts that we'll talk about. Last progression here. So net front is becoming more popular of a theme simply because defensive teams are now shrinking the corners and being hard to play against low, 5-on-3s down low. So all of a sudden the blue line is more of an option to find space and get pucks to the interior. So now there's got to be more of a focus, especially for the forwards, on how they're getting to that space and how they're using their physicality to create offense. Here again, offensive box out. They're getting to the eyes of the goalie. They're trying to preserve space for the shot, but also put themselves in a situation where they can spin downhill and put themselves in a space to get those rebounds. Coming out of the corner, we're looking at the St. Louis player, number 70. He's going to be in a war for himself, just trying to get to the net against a big defender who's boxing him out. But it's his effort, essentially, that getting to the net off the puck, like we talked about earlier, that creates the screen for the goal. Here's another Dallas player who's getting underneath at the net. Another offensive box out. He's getting his backside into the defender. He's owning the crease and allowing him to get first touch on any rebounds. Again, here, now this is World Juniors. He's earning space at the net. Other players are working off the net, coming downhill into rebounds and timing, and there's your offensive box out. Getting position and using your physicality to leverage ice around the goalie. Again, fighting for position to get underneath. Now he actually vacates, but you can see all three players off the puck have got to use their body to come downhill and look for the secondary opportunities. We try and put our players in as many environments as we can to recreate those situations. Here, Matt Boldy is getting a 50-50 puck line on a forecheck as F1. He gets through the hands of that defender to earn first touch. We're a second quick onto the puck. Reset it, cycle it to the bottom behind the net. And again, just like Austin, just like our player I showed you from in practice, getting to the net right away, getting that wall collection, not being afraid of the contact or avoidance, but attacking inside. Now he bobbles it, he's back into another puck battle, and this clip really just stitches it all together in all the other sequences that we saw. Now he's getting to the net, he's taking contact and still getting a tip on the puck. So last progression here, similar to the puck protection, we have 3 stations going on for the forwards. All the drills are a little bit different. We're working on off-net shot tips. We're working on tip screens. Here, we ask our players to turn and pivot to start creating that offensive box out and collect any rebounds. Here again, the first one was a rebound. That was a higher shot for a tip. Here's another progression for shot tip and how players are coming downhill into time and space as the puck arrives. For time's sake, I'll just let this play through. But you can see that we're working through different ways of scoring in and around the crease. So now we'll get into practice. We call this one Tom Brady, like you're the quarterback up at the blue line. Defensemen will stay on their half of the ice. Red is trying to score on this net. Blue's trying to score on this net. It's 2-on-2 in the zone. On the whistle, all the guys are out. 4 new guys are in. But essentially now we have a box out situation defensively, but also offensively. We're using our body to spin, roll, box out at the net to win rebounds. You can see the battle. Another puck is spotted as it went in the net. You can see the box out. You got to fight to get around the stick. You might have to spin, get underneath on the backside. Off net shot tips, just like we were working on in the skills. We're trying to put them now in the environment to use all the options that we worked on without defenders. 2-on-2 picket fence, another environment where we're creating a 50-50 puck line. You can use defensemen at the blue line, more times than not we use coaches. But puck is going to be spotted against the end wall. You want it to come off the end wall quite a ways, or just lightly put it out in front of you. This is a longer foot race with more momentum. You don't want them to go shoulder to shoulder or head first into the board, so it's smart to have proper puck placement in this drill. So 50-50 puck, and as they get into this puck, they can bump it back to the coaches and then get to the net, just like the Tom Brady drill, where they're just trying to fight 2-on-2 at the net with a point shot. Or they could grab this puck and pass it to the next person in line to activate a player to create a 3-on-2. So no different than getting off the wall, attacking inside, or finding the F3 in that pocket. You get rewarded for getting off the wall against pressure to activate a player, and it turns out 3-on-2 for the rest of that rep. In this case, they're fighting for a puck line. It goes to the point. It's 2-on-2 still. Goes to the point. Now they're fighting for space, getting through hands. There's your offensive box out and positioning. You get the secondary look at it. And then on this one, again, 50-50 puck. Looking to get position. They throw it right back to the third guy. It activates and create a 3-on-2. But similar situations around the net for goal scoring. Last one here, 4-and-4 reset. You have, more times than not, a defenseman and defenseman. Those are stationary positions. You're trying to create 2 mini O-zones with point shots. There's one forward that has to be in the painted box at all times. To have a net front, that person can switch in and out. It doesn't have to be the same person all the time. And then you have a 2-on-2 in the middle of the rink. And essentially, coach will spot a puck. The players in the middle of the rink are fighting for it. The guys at the net can't go. They got to stay locked in position there. You can reset and change sides. You're just trying to create an environment for some system play, but also, again, net front battles and net front scoring. Here you'll see white defenseman gets the puck. Now you have your isolated person who has to stay at the net. The other 2 defenders here in the middle can stay at the net and box out, or they can gap up on the guys in the middle of the rink. There should always be 1 free person, so you're giving a number advantage to the offensive side of the puck. And you can look for off-net shot tips. You can shoot to score for screens and sticks and tips. Here they decide to go to what could be like a high F3 in the offensive zone, attacking downhill. But I want to highlight the other player who got tucked underneath, and arriving as the shot arrives, they get body position for an offensive box out. And last one here, again, goes to the point. You have a double layer screen. You don't have one guy doing the same job at the same depth, but I want you to see how they both spin, and they're both coming downhill for good offensive habits to create their box out and get any rebounds to either score, or if the puck goes to the corner of the rink, they're getting first touch to extend your offensive zone. So with that, offensive mindset, inside contact, is a skill set, and it's a mindset, and how you approach it to your team. Body control, puck protection, and executing under pressure are key in how fast the game is becoming, and the skills that our players need to be successful and be hard to play against offensively. And with the progression, just make sure you're training with purpose and intensity in everything that you do. Thank you.
Awesome. We got time for just a quick question or 2 here, Morsey. First one is, how do you manage the egos of high-end young players, of course, that might be at the National Team Development Program, being asked to play a team game while also focusing on their individual development? How do you do that?
It's a good question. All these players come to us, as the big fish in their pond, and some of that's good. You want your players to have confidence on the ice, right? You're not trying to take away the confidence or the ego, but probably the most important thing that we do at our program is developing and maturing the person. And hopefully through that process, the ego becomes just confidence without the arrogance. And it's a daily thing, it's your culture, it's you, your support staff, your assistant coaches, not giving in to any of the little things day to day, taking your hats off at the dinner table or in a meeting. If you're not 5 minutes, you're late. Pleases and thank yous. Every time someone needs to get their skates sharpened, it's their number, the skates on the board, and it's always a please and a thank you as they write out on the board. It's been a tradition over time. So just life habits like that hopefully take care of the ego part as we do our best to teach them life lessons and have life skills where people will come in from outside us coaches and deliver leadership meetings, life experiences, stories, and give the players other perspectives from outside our program.
Awesome. All right, one more. For youth coaches in the audience, when should these principles, like initiating body contact, when should they start? 8U, 12U? When do you want to start initiating body contact? Youth hockey.
Yeah, I think it's really early. We talked about hitting. Shoulder-to-shoulder hitting is not legal or allowed at a certain level, but simply putting somebody on your back or getting through the hands and getting through the stick were the reason why I wanted to make sure I highlighted those things so it was translatable to all ages. And the younger you are getting comfortable at targeting a defender who's reaching, who's exposed, who's not in a strong position, that'll give them more confidence as they get older to have more reps when they get there.
Awesome. Coach Greg Moore, everybody.
Thank you very much.
I love the subtle